A few days ago, I spoke with a couple who reached out because they're stuck. Last year, they sold their home in a hurry right before their oldest started high school. They were trying to sell high, thinking a market crash was right around the corner. They panicked, rushed the sale, and convinced themselves they were getting ahead of the curve. Fast forward to today, they're renting a place they can't stand. Their monthly costs are higher, and they're still struggling to find a new home that actually fits their family's needs. Selling seemed smart at the time, but they skipped a few key steps, and now they're paying the price. In this video, I am breaking down the 5 things you must nail before selling your home. Miss even one, and you could end up regretting the whole move, financially, emotionally, or both. So let's help you avoid that. Let's start with the number one thing you've got to nail if you're even thinking about selling. You have to price your home for today's market, not yesterday's news. Look, I get it. Your neighbor sold 2 years ago for a wild number. You've made upgrades, you've built memories in every room. And somewhere between your zestimate and your gut, you're convinced your home is worth top dollar. But here's the hard truth: the market doesn't care what your home meant to you, it only cares what it's worth today. And if you try to push the price just to see what happens, you're not just testing the market, you're tempting regret. I've seen sellers chase a number that only made sense in their head and watch as their listing sat and sat until it went stale. Suddenly, buyers think something's wrong. Lowball offers start rolling in. 3 price drops later, they're kicking themselves because they've lost not just money, but momentum. One seller even told me, "We thought we'd regret underpricing. We had no idea how much worse it feels to miss the moment and leave money on the table by overpricing." The sellers who win, they come in sharp, realistic, strategic. They understand pricing isn't about pride, it's about positioning. Start right and you create urgency. You attract strong buyers. You keep control. If you start too high, you stall. You stress, and you end up looking back wishing you'd listened the first time. But here's the kicker: even the perfect price can't carry the weight if your home doesn't look the part. Which brings us to point number two. Even a perfectly priced home won't sell if it looks like a rental from 2006. Buyers today, they're not looking for potential, they're looking for ready. They scroll past listings in 5 seconds flat if the photos are dark, the countertops are cluttered, or the paint still says "We loved Tuscan yellow in 2012." And look, I'm not saying you need to do a full renovation. Most of the time, you don't. But you do need to prep your home to show it's worth what you're asking. That means things like decluttering, deep cleaning, neutralizing bold design choices, maybe even staging a few key rooms to help buyers picture their life, not yours, in the space. I've had listings where we spent less than $500 on prep. Simple stuff like paint and lighting. I brought in my folks for pro photos, and it helped us sell for $5 to $10,000 more than similar homes nearby. That's not guess. That's strategy. But when sellers cut corners here, it shows. Buyers walk in and immediately start mentally deducting money for every little thing they have to change. Oh, we need to repaint that. Oh, the carpet's got to go there. This feels tight. That's another thing that's big right now. And suddenly, they're offering less and they're not offering at all in a lot of cases. So, if you want to attract serious buyers and command top dollar, your home can't just exist on the market, it has to compete. And yet, none of that matters if your agent's stuck in 2021. Which brings us to point number three that you need to nail: the one decision that could either launch your home like a rocket or leave it sitting on the market with crickets. You have got to hire the right agent, not one stuck in 2021. I've been speaking with so many folks lately who listed with an agent only to find out nothing was actually being done to get the home sold. One person even told me their agent didn't even put a sign in their yard. Not one open house, not one social post, just crickets. Another had an agent who ran a weak Facebook ad and said, "Well, we'll see what happens." Let me be crystal clear. Facebook is not a strategy, and it's definitely not the only place that sells homes. You want eyeballs on your listing everywhere. You want every local agent and buyer to know your home is available and worth seeing. You want energy behind your listing. So if your agent says, "Well, we'll put it on Zillow and the other major websites," duh, that's not some grand marketing plan. That's what happens automatically when your home gets uploaded to the MLS. That's called the bare minimum. You deserve more than the bare minimum. The right agent, they don't just list your home, they launch it with intention, marketing strategy, negotiation prep, and a clear roadmap from day one. This isn't about putting a sign in the yard and hoping, it's about leading you to the closing table like a pro. Because real estate today takes hustle, data, digital visibility, and old school follow up. You need an agent who's not coasting off the past, but building for your future. And if you're planning to sell, make sure you're asking the right questions when you interview agents. In my free seller playbook, I've included a list of powerful questions you can use to separate the talkers from the doers. And yes, you should interview at least 3 agents. Don't just go with the one who talks the fastest or has the flashiest pitch. You want the one who works the hardest for you. Grab the playbook. It's free, it's packed, and it's built to protect your bottom line. All right, this next one is where real sellers separate themselves from the just winging it crowd. You need a workable plan for both the sale and the purchase. Most people think selling a home is a single transaction. It's not. It's a chain of moves that all need to sync up, or things get messy fast. The last thing you want, selling your home and having nowhere to go. That's how people end up couch surfing with the in laws or panic renting a place they don't even like. On the flip side, you also don't want to fall in love with your dream home, buy it, then realize you're stuck carrying 2 mortgages until your current place sells. That's financial whiplash. This is why you don't need just a plan A, you need a plan B, and honestly, even a plan C. Maybe it's negotiating a rent back to stay in your home a little longer. Maybe it's getting pre approved and timing the close with the purchase of your sale. Identifying a short term backup option in case one domino doesn't fall exactly when you want it to. I help clients with this kind of thing every day because real estate is part timing, part strategy, and part contingency planning. This isn't HGTV, it's real life. And if you don't have a solid game plan in place, even a great offer can turn into a headache real fast. That's why we walk through every scenario so no matter what pops up, you're ready to pivot instead of panic. Now, here's where most sellers really get tripped up. Let's talk about timing. Not market timing, not interest rates, not the best month to sell according to some blog post. I mean, your timing. Here's the thing, there's no such thing as the perfect time to sell. Life doesn't schedule itself around buyer demand or mortgage rate trends. But your family changes, your job shifts, your needs evolve, and sometimes you outgrow your home before you even realize it. I've worked with families who were waiting for the right time, only to find themselves suddenly cramped, stressed, and scrambling when life made the decision for them. And on the other hand, I've worked with folks who jumped in too soon, thinking they had to move right now to beat the market, and they weren't ready emotionally, financially, or logistically. That's why the key isn't about guessing the market when it'll peak. The key is getting real about what's best for you. What do you need in your home right now? What's changing in your family, your finances, your lifestyle? Timing should be based on your life, not news headlines or some friends you should sell now advice at a barbecue. And here's the part most people forget: selling your home isn't just a financial decision, it's an emotional one. You're not just moving walls, you're moving lives. So if the timing feels off, listen to that. But if the timing feels right and you've nailed the other four pieces we've talked about today, then let's make sure your move happens on your terms with a real plan and real support. Because this isn't just about selling a house, it's about creating what's next. And you deserve to do that with clarity and confidence. I'm Ben Dings, and I'll see you next time.